the good. And so
Right.
if they're selling you something, no. If they're
Oh,
having you go to a networking thing, or if you can get on a stage and talk about the IT needs for veterinarians, specifically for veterinarians, absolutely do it. I would
okay.
just say what I would do is I would create one landing page that says, techno lean sub vets, right? Or
Uh,
well, veterinarians, right? So make a landing page and say your go-to source for um all your, like, it's something cute, because you always have like tongue-in-cheek comic relief. So like something like all your pets IT needs, because that would be cute.
right.
You know what I mean? Like just
All your pet peeves.
right, exactly. Something.
All your IT pet peeves.
Absolutely. But
Right.
all I'm saying is don't go down the rabbit hole and put all your eggs in one basket. But
Oh no.
if that's where you're seeing success, make it easy for them to find you and make it dedicated for them, but then let it lie. Like build that funnel so that the landing
Mhm.
is, your pet peeves or your pet's IT needs or whatever it's going to be. It's
Okay.
signaling, and then it still has all the information that you are already putting on everything else. You just have a couple pictures of Fido on it. You know what I mean? And like pictures of
Right.
vets like checking up on their dogs, because that's where you are sort of carving a niche.
Yeah.
Because the niche isn't defined yet, and you also have all these other things that you could be doing, you already have some pipeline and top of funnel going. We want to create the campaign so that the campaign works when you aren't, and so they can always find you. You're there.
Mm.
They know that you're the guy for veterinarian clinics, but you also are the guy for that manufacturing company, and you're also the guy
Oh
for,
yeah.
you know what I mean. So
Yeah.
not
I'm
saying
not.
I'm not saying don't do it, though. I'm just saying don't go all in. It's a vertical campaign. It is not
Yeah.
shift.
No. No. I'm not. I'm not making a shift,
Okay.
but I'm seeing an area of opportunity where, um, and this is it kind of got kicked into high gear after I talked to a vendor for my client, or actually a potential vendor, right? Because I'm trying to get that clinic
Mhm.
off of their on-prem server and into the cloud. And it's not an Azure cloud for them, because there's all these cloud-based solutions specifically for veterinary practices. And this is one that my client pointed me to check out. And when I talked to their product developer, I forget her exact title, I realized, there's a great opportunity here,
Mhm.
um, for partnership and collaboration. And I asked her, um, about veterinary organizations like associations, and being a preferred vendor for them. And this is going to be interesting. You're not going to be surprised by her reaction. That it's like, wow, Lewis, you don't come off like one of these IT know-it-alls. Um, right? Because a lot of the IT people, they come in, they've got their cookie cutter solution, as my dad would fondly say. Um, and they're not listening to the vets, right? And I came into this meeting with the vendor with an open mind and an attitude of learning, and I discovered, you know, there's a nationwide shortage of vets. So like we're short 18,000 vets.
Mhm.
And why is that? Well, it's, you know, they're like the highest rate of suicide. You know, they're higher than dentists. And
Oh, is that just
it,
because I see all of the sad things and it's all puppy related?
what was that?
Is that because they see like animals dying? It's all like puppy related and there's nothing bad in an animal. Like intrinsically, not there's never anything bad with an animal, and it would just break my heart.
Yeah, there's that. Like
Oh,
in one day, so one day they could be putting, you know, a dog down that they've spent the lifetime of the dog treating that animal, and then delivering a litter, right? So it's and they're overworked. You know, they're working tons of hours,
yeah.
uh, and
I think it's a really strong campaign. I'm
yeah.
not, I think you are 100% right that it is an opportunity and
Mhm.
that you already have a success story and you already have case study, which makes it so much easier. Um,
Yeah.
so I think that for you specifically, yes, it absolutely do it. But what I'm saying is, campaign it out, don't shift it out. And if that's how you're looking at it, I think that's great.
Oh
Um,
yeah. I think I can. I mean, I can walk and chew gum. I mean,
mhm,
I don't chew. I don't know the answer to that because I don't chew gum. I assume I can do both.
yep.
Uh, but uh, no, it sounds like, and I talked to Dina about it too, and she was saying, you know, because they have there's two big conferences, and one of them I think is in February in Vegas.
Mhm.
And she's saying, you know, if you want to be a speaker, jump on it now.
Yep.
Um,
How much is that to is it pay to play? I'm assuming it's pay to play where you would have to pay to speak.
uh, that I that I don't know. I assume well, you got to pay to attend, I'm sure, but you know, maybe my veterinary clinic could sponsor me to go, but then that's
Yep.
going to put me on the hook to
Deliver.
deliver some things. Um,
Okay.
but yeah, so and you know, it'd be an excuse to take wifey to Vegas,
Correct.
right? To make up for the last time I took her to Vegas. Um, you know, when it was her birthday and I was at Kaseya that time.
Right.
No, but we had a good time.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Uh,
You can make up a Vegas trip for her. Listen, you know, if I'm all for having fun and getting the work done at the same time, right?
yeah.
Um, so I'm all for it. Let's just find out how much it is. And
Okay.
listen, if don't look to me for permission, but I'm just saying, we just need to plan it out from all of your
Oh yeah.
and if it makes sense to go when you're looking at expenses, investment, time on stage, if that gets if a plane ticket and a dinner gets you time on stage in front of a bunch of people and you have a solid presentation,
Hmm.
go. You know what I mean? Like you're going to get so much more business by being on stage and speaking than anything. But then I want your wife to do some work for you and take a video of you speaking so that we can repurpose it and you can show people that you are the expert in that space and you're talking to all of these veterinarians and you are the one that saves their pet peeves and it turns into a campaign that we can run with.
Okay. So
You're
we'll,
used to
you
doing that.
know, I'll do the groundwork and then we'll game it out.
Yep.
Um, I have not heard from Renee. I sent him the presentation and the request for the, you know, new images. I think he was having dental work. I don't know. I got to figure out what happened to him and where we're at on the website because he's been very quiet.
Hmm.
Uh, um, what else? I guess I just need to work on my pipeline and like plugging stuff into the spreadsheet that Nick designed,
Redid.
redid for me. Thank you, Nick.
I think he might be.
You are welcome. Happy to help.
Yeah, I think you just need to choose a lane. And I think that's really what it is, right? I think you're solid on your cloud migrations and staying in the cloud. I think that's great. I think you can already support other stuff. So
Right.
because you're not advertising it, you're not going to say no to a new client. You're just going to say, yeah, okay, we can make that work, but we're going to charge you an extra, $150 because at some point we're going to end of life this, we're going to migrate you over and you're going to have to pay extra billable hours so that we can support this. I think that's the way to go from an overall messaging standpoint. But when
Right.
it comes to verticals, pick 3 that you're focusing on. I wouldn't go further than that. Like
Okay.
even with me, I don't go beyond. I mean, could I do sales acceleration and enablement for any industry? Absolutely. It's the same damn thing, except, we're very channel specific and we know how to have that conversation. But parts is parts. It's the same thing. I could technically teach veterinarians how to sell to people with, extra dogs or, specific animals that have 3 legs. It's not the who, it's the how you focus it. And
Right.
have you ever heard the term what is it? It's focus goes where energy flows.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I think it's Tony Robbins, right? So it's true. Like if you focus on who your target is and that's who you're speaking to, your people are going to find you. But if you're all over the place, that's what I worry about. So if that's one of your verticals and you're going to talk to that vertical, do it.
Yeah, I mean, if anything, I feel like I'm clarifying things more. The other vertical that kind of popped into mind is dealerships. Because
Mhm.
I had I had a motorcycle dealership
You were
years
telling
ago.
me about that.
I was
Mhm.
okay, I was telling you about that.
Yep.
Um, right. So that's an opportunity to kind of reach back out to my old friend Bill Nation. And that I think is also another industry where people are moving to the cloud and there are cloud solutions that, again, it's not Azure, but it's, you know, something that's already been established.
Mhm.
And, so we can work in a similar way that we would do with Azure. And maybe there is an Azure piece, whatever,
Are
right?
you
But
trying to do Azure because of Nerdio?
uh well, so the Nerdio piece kind of, it's like a preset playground,
Yep.
right?
Mhm.
It's something I can drop into pretty easily because I've got my Nerdio expert and
You don't have to do the work, right? It's not a heavy lift.
it's not a heavy lift,
Okay.
right?
So the reason why I'm asking, and
Yeah,
forgive me, but you know me, I'm gonna just lay it out there.
lay it out there.
I am. So I don't have a problem with creating a need for based on the tech stack that you have. What I don't want to see is I don't want to see you manufacturing need for to work into a tech stack just because it's easier. Now, if you just want to go and resell Nerdio, then you have to talk to other people and you have to find out where their vertical is, right? So
Right.
there's 2 ways you could go about it. One, you could talk to your people where you have had success and talk to what they need, but don't go in with any preconceived notions. Now, obviously, what you're doing is you want people that are going to be able to migrate to the cloud. You want to be that educator. You want to make sure that they understand and that they are prepared
Yeah.
they qualify, right? So you're going to disqualify people, because the best way to attract people is when you say that you can't, when they can't necessarily have you because they don't qualify, right?
Right.
That's one of the best sales tactics you can potentially use, because wait, hold on, do you qualify to work with me? You do, great, let's take the next step. Or hey, not quite yet, but let me be a resource to you, here you go. So that's number one. Number two, you could ostensibly say, hey, we resell this, we are a we are a you'd have to phrase it differently, but we are a resource for this, right? So
Right.
have a specific campaign focused on that, and that's who you're attracting. But then you'd have to get with Nerdio and say, who fits that? Like, who is this person for you? Because they're going to say, well, we work with VARs and MSPs, so it doesn't matter. But they know where
Yeah.
those VARs and MSPs are deploying to. So if that's the case, and you want to go forward with that, then you're a VAR. You're a value-added reseller. You help deploy, you help set it up, and then you just resell. And that's a smart way to get into business, man. Like that's something you could absolutely have an element of. But again, that's almost like a vertical campaign. So if that's a focus, then that's a sales focus. Does that make sense? I just don't want you like going for a dealership that may not be a fit for that, because you want that round peg to fit in a square hole. But if you can go after who is the perfect fit for that and you want to resell it, let's go.
So I don't feel like I want to exclusively do Nerdio and Azure.
Okay.
I think, yeah, it's a great way to jumpstart, and maybe I'm a VAR, like, a shy VAR. But I keep running I met with a couple of guys from a colo facility here in Boise, right? And so they got a data center, very impressive, very secure, not 99.9% uptime, 100% uptime. I mean, that thing will take a nuclear blast. And they're doing, it's not really a cloud solution. I mean, they do offer like your private cloud, right? And you can either put your hardware in the data center, or you could use one of their cloud hosted solutions. And why shouldn't I do business with them just because I'm also doing Nerdio, right?
Okay.
So that's where the question becomes, do I focus on Nerdio and Azure, or like, do I keep it open, and how open should it be?
So that is because we're in an interesting spot where you're redefining your packages and we're redefining your offerings, right?
Right.
And now when I say you're a VAR, take that with a grain of salt, because I'm saying we need to sell the service, not the technology, so to speak.
Exactly.
So I'm not trying to sell the product, but what does the product get you? And what could you offer that would be plug and play?
It's so, yeah, because it is, it's tempting. It's tempting to kind of manufacture the need, right?
But if the need's already there with certain people, it might be just they'll find you if we market it properly and we have those right sales calls and we start putting the sales machine in place, because that's what these vendors want you to do anyways, right? The whole reason
Right.
there's a channel and why these vendors are in business, dirty little secret, is so that you can be their salesperson. It's so that MSPs sell their software for them and they don't have to have huge sales teams, unlike unless you're ConnectWise and Kaseya, and then you've got a suite of sales teams. But think about how
Right.
many people they actually have representing each technology. It's not that many. If you really think about it, they've bought a lot of technologies, but it's not that many.
No, because they got us.
Correct. So if that is one of the if you followed suit and were an extension of, right?
Yeah.
What's the service that they're offering, not the technology, not the name of the technology, but what's the service? At that point, then you could identify because then you're not manufacturing a need.
No.
You're just saying, okay, Mr. Customer, this is what I can do for you. I'll implement, I'll resell this. And oh, by the way, we can do all this other stuff, right?
Right.
That's a smart way to go about it. But
So I'm not trying to chase too many shiny objects. And that's why I think.
But you already have that relationship, like that one specifically. You've
Yeah.
got Kaseya, you've got Nerdio, you've got these things, right? So
Yep.
it would not be hard to create your service provider for service
Right.
on a menu of services that is specifically on that campaign. You don't even put that on your website, or you put it on the website, but you lock it down. So not everybody can go there. What we want to do for the website is we want to attract your verticals and the people that you speak to on your networking on top of funnel. But you've got that available. And for specific campaigns, you could send to people there and you could be that value-added reseller.
Yeah, because well, coming back to the basics, I am trying to shed, all the break fix, onesie twosies. People are pinging me about, I call it death by 1,000 cuts. Some of the old clients, like if I'm able to serve them through my Field Nation people, I'm doing it on a case by case basis. But I'm also getting some of these people that I should probably not be dealing with at all, and they're like, "Oh, can't you just help me by remote?" But no, so foundationally speaking, the new Technolane, right, is the cloud service provider, including UCaaS, which I'm doing Zoom, right? I'm gonna have that as just a core offering, because I think it goes well with the cloud computing, and it's also like I'm my own guinea pig, right?
You are.
And yeah, because when I reached out to PAX 8, right, I need something for my little team that is all contractors, and I don't want to be giving out their personal cell phone numbers to people.
Right.
I want to have a pool of numbers that I can assign to my team, and they can access it on their cell phones, right?
Yep.
And PAX 8 came back and said, "Oh, you should do Zoom." I thought, okay, everybody likes Zoom, and so they set me up as a partner, and now I got to go through a training so I can get the licenses for my team,
right?
But the Zoom people, they're good. I start going through the training, I get excited about it, right? Because it's the kind of thing, I get excited about products and services that are not the sort of thing that the IT people get excited about.
No,
right?
right.
The IT people, they're going to say, "Oh, Zoom, that's that's like a Mac or but it's like no, Zoom is cool because it fits in, it fits in with Technolink because you're getting rid of your all this on-premise hardware and you make it where you send a link to somebody and they click on it and it's easy,
Yep.
right? It's not, maybe from the IT standpoint, oh no, they're never going to call me and I can't be the hero who saves them, right? No, maybe IT people like the idea of not being the hero to save them, but I just know people who love complicated solutions for the
Totally.
sake of the complexity,
Yep. Absolutely.
right?
Mhm.
I'm the opposite.
No, 100%. And that's one of those things where it's like, okay, we just need to identify. Are we identifying the service or are we identifying the vertical? And I'm not telling you which one is correct, but I
Hmm.
think that it's time to make that distinction, that decision. And I,
Right.
I would urge you to do it for annual planning because for the next year, um, I think again, where focus goes where energy flows. So let's figure out where your focus is for the next year and fail hard. If it's a bad call, that's fine. It can be a bad call. We
Yeah.
can do it, but we need to focus. So
Yeah.
that has always been sort of the challenge, right? Is identifying where that sweet spot is, especially when you're redefining.
Yeah. So if we, if the big concept is cloud
Mhm.
and the big concept is let's make life easier for people. And this is how we're doing it. We're moving your playground into the cloud, right? We're getting rid of on-premise servers. We're getting rid of all the old technology. Oh, and look at this phone system you got that you hate. Um, let's do things the new way, give you flexibility. Um, right. So
Yeah.
I got two of the pieces already. I got, Azure Nerdio is one piece, Zoom is another piece.
Mhm.
Start with that.
Right. So I think that's really where you are then. So if you're going to be doing that sort of motion, um, we just need to identify, okay, that's one motion. Second
Yeah.
one is the vertical. And I think, then you've got the organic growth of networking. You can help anybody. You've got that ability, but we need to create a barrier of entry so that they have to qualify to work with you. So if they're cloud
Yeah.
ready, okay, barrier to entry, great. You got this, great. Now we've got the pricing, we've got the messaging. So now you've got an attraction on the veterinarians, you've got an attraction on that resell of services, and then anybody else that wants to work with you has to, and really everybody has to get through that barrier to entry. But I think those are the focuses. Does that sound
Yeah.
does that sound
No,
right?
that sounds right. So then the thing to do is to come up with a cloud readiness assessment, right? And and then I can write articles and do presentations around that,
Mhm. Yep.
right?
Yep.
The cloud's ready. Are you?
There you go. Right. And then all it is for the veterinarians is add some cute dog pictures and make the messaging right. It's not that hard to focus on a vertical as long as you know the terminology and you know what's necessary. You have a perfect case study. I would say get a quote from your current guys that already
Mhm.
love you and they know you, and just open up the space that way so that you're not reinventing the wheel. You're just cloning what you already are doing, and then you're adding a couple of pictures and a little bit, and you're shifting the messaging just a little bit to be more telling the story to them so that they understand that you get it. That's all.
Right. And I'm thinking in terms of getting that quote when I talk to the owner of the clinic, I could essentially do a quick interview with her and say, what are some of your biggest challenges as a veterinarian, as a veterinary clinic, and how are we helping you, to address those problems and meet your goals?
Yep, I think you're right on. Do you feel like I just gave you like 5 to 10 hours worth of work?
Oh, easily.
Yep.
Ha!
Yeah, I know. But it's important to identify and to really make sure that you're talking to the right people. Because I think otherwise you get lost and it ends up being just really confusing who you're speaking to and who you're selling to.
Well, I think as long as I keep the overarching premise, of cloud, the cloud's ready. Are you ready for the cloud?
Yep.
Then everything else, if it works in that world, then do it. If it's, grandma forgot her Wi-Fi password, no.
Right. Right.
Nothing against grandma.
Right. You just don't want the home users, and that's totally fine too.
Yeah.
That's okay. So, all right. So now that we solved for that problem and you kind of know the direction, which is great. What else you got?
That's kind of a lot.
It is a lot.
I mean, I got it's 48 degrees and kind of overcast and rainy, and I got my smoker going.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, I'm multitasking
I
today,
see that. That's
and
great.
my calendar is providing me with excellent guidance, because even if I'm not,
Getting everything done.
no, I'm not getting everything done, but um, but I'm getting things done that I wasn't. I was all over the map. Like, I know I got to study my Zoom and get that certification. And I know I got to do my Nerdio so I can get that certification, right? It's on the calendar. And so even if I do it for 5 minutes out of, maybe I block 30 minutes or 60 minutes, but I, oh my God, my head's blowing up after 10.
Right.
But that's 10 more minutes than I would have done.
Yep. Absolutely. And I think that's the blocking, right? It's giving you the freedom to understand that you have to get these things done. Okay, so how do we get them done? And that's all.
Right. And even, if I do it at 4 o'clock instead of 3 o'clock, at least I'm not sitting in the chair staring at the lights,
Right.
thinking about my insomnia.
Right. Yep.
And I even have, working on my comedy bit is in there. Lunch is in there. TV with the wifey is in there.
I know that's at 9 p.m., right?
It is.
Okay.
So when when you do your presentation about time management, you can throw that in there.
I will. I will, for sure. It makes total sense, right? It's like you need to block in your personal time too.
Yep.
It's super important. And I know that it's going back to basics. I'm not trying to babysit you guys. You know what I mean? Like, you all are adults, you all are super smart, you all have your stuff together. I'm not trying to come down and be like the teacher or the principal that's like, oh, you screwed up your time blocking, right? That's not the point. The point is giving you guys enough time to focus on revenue producing activity. That's all.
Well, it took both you and Dina to get me to manage my time, because she's, we actually even worked on my calendar during one of our sessions and
really?
had it all color coded and everything. and but
Good.
I wasn't ready. And she's the one who said to, okay, when are you putting in, visit with mom, right?
Nice.
So that's in there too. Uh,
That's good though. That
no,
needed to. So talk to me about some of your more sales related conversations that you've been having. Because you've actually done a pretty good job of campaigning. What are you doing from a follow-up perspective?
um, I've become aware of the need for follow-up.
Hmm.
Um, I haven't put it on my, like, I need to put some things on the calendar.
Mhm.
Um, because there are people, for instance, that I sent automated, like I sent an automated email after that general contractors meeting,
Yes.
but now I'm gonna, there's like four of them who I want to bring up specific individual things with
Okay.
them outside of the automation.
Mhm.
um I mean, I guess I need to.
So talk to me about what you want to do with that. So if you're looking to speak to them about something other than the automation, why are you looking to speak with them something about something other than the automation? Because that tells me that you either need to change what's on the automation or you need to personalize it more.
Well, so like one guy, he's he works for the Idaho AGC.
Mhm.
Um, he's also in a band, and
Okay.
um, he was. I mean, he was there when I heckled the guy and asked if they need a harmonica player.
Yes, you told me about that. Yes. Yes, yes, yes.
Right? That was. I'm going to heckle more often because that turned out to be a brilliant move because after that everybody knew me, and
Yep.
then these guys wanted to talk to me, and the one guy has connections with a local theater where they do comedy, and so I mean that doesn't help my IT business,
Right.
uh but no, it's an excuse to talk to him about my IT business. And so uh I would like to send him a personal note, regarding the guitar playing and the, thanks for bringing up this and that. Um, can we have a follow-up conversation? And I'd like to talk to you more about my business. And who do you think, within the directory of the AGC would be somebody good for me to meet, right? So I want to develop that, right? And then there were a couple of enterprise fleet, car fleet guys who I would like to um, further the conversation with them, because I think people who are buying fleets of 20 or more vehicles could be a good client for me, right? So
Yep.
just like developing the referral partnerships with some of these people, that beyond what comes across in an automated email.
Got it. Okay. So I think, okay. So inside of your automated emails that are just templates, right? So you have an automated one, but you also could put in just a template. And so that template then would allow you to personalize a little bit. So if you're looking for very specifics, it might make more sense to just have a template and then you personalize a little bit for people like that. But then the rest of them have that automation. What do you think?
Oh yeah, right. Because when you compose an email within Go High Level, go get go. Uh, You can send it to one person, but you pull from the template is
Yep.
what you're saying to do.
Correct. Correct.
I can do that. It's still not syncing with my Outlook though.
Okay, so that again, that is something that you'd have to either reach out to Go High Level for support. They do have YouTube videos for that, but that's what I sent you.
Yeah.
And
No,
then
I got with them,
okay,
and
what was I saying?
they, because remember you sent me that, and then I didn't have this thing, like it was telling me to go to the setting,
Mhm.
and I didn't have that subcategory, and so I jumped on the Go High
Oh,
Level.
yes. Okay, I remember that because you couldn't find it.
Yeah, I couldn't find
I
it,
didn't know what the
and
heck to tell you at that point. I was like, ugh.
no, it worked out because then it turned out that I hadn't done my I hadn't done my onboarding.
Ah,
And,
okay.
so they had me do the onboarding. Oh, here's one of my death by 1,000 cuts.
Uh-oh, what happened?
No, one of these people that I need to distance myself,
Mm,
client wise.
got it.
So anyway, um, what was I gonna say?
They got you onboarded. You identified what the issue
I
was.
got that. Yeah. So they enable it, and I mean it's an easy kind of connection to make. So I need to look at it again. It's in there.
Okay.
We'll see. All right. But right, because I should, like, when I send the email from Go High Level, it should show up in my sent items,
Correct.
right?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep, it should. So if it doesn't, then it needs to sync. And the only thing is that we have to make sure that not all of your emails sync, right? Because you may be having personal conversations that you don't want in Go High Level, you don't want in your CRM. So that is important as well. So I actually have Suzanne working on a way to show you what to do to omit certain things. But there should also be a way to just, if you're sending it directly from your Outlook, a
Mhm.
BCC function where you could just BCC everything that you want into Go High Level. So you automatically just make sure that you put BCC on every single thing and it goes in there
Oh
just
yeah.
in case, because that way you can make sure that it's automatically syncing even if these situations happen.
Okay.
That might make more sense because that way you don't have to wait for a solution. You can just, I mean, I hate to say it's a band-aid, but it's a little bit of a band-aid, but it would work.
No. Yeah. That's what Band-Aids are for.
I know we do like some band-aids sometimes. So other than that, I think you have a lot to do.
No,
um
I do.
based on what we went over. I might just give you back your 15 minutes so that you can kind of knock that out for a little bit of time. So you can kind of define those 3 categories and put it in writing. And as long as it's in writing, I think, pop it in your SharePoint. This is what we're working off of. I mean, that's essentially the beginnings of your annual planning for next year. So I say, let's get to it.
Okay.
If you want.
And meanwhile, I'm gonna empty that little charcoal chimney into the smoker.
That is important as well.
It is.
All right. What are you smoking?
2 different kind of ribs.
Ooh, that sounds
I
good.
couldn't decide, so I got them both.
Oh man.
So I got to stage it because it's not a real big grill.
Right.
I mean, first world problems up in
Sounds
Boise
delicious.
in the rain. Yeah,
Sounds
we'll see. We'll see. It's a crapshoot with me.
All right, man. Well, take it easy. I appreciate you jumping on. I am going to go ahead and jump off because I think you might be the one and only today, and that is okay by me because I think we got through a lot.
Yeah, I don't get these other people not taking advantage of the opportunity.
Well, they do. It's so Brian was on last time. It is hit or miss because we have such a small group right now of
Mhm.
the first betas, which I love. Honestly, I'm getting to know you guys very well, and I think I can kind of pick up on things faster and more easily than I would with a larger group. we do have a couple more groups coming in, so it will be like take it while you can because
No, I know I'm gonna have to, make a big pile of money so that I can upgrade,
well, you
to
already listen, you're already doing the right things, but we need to, I'm trying to set you up to succeed. It's not about making revenue off of you. It is about setting you up to succeed so that we can get you to the next step. And then if you need us, fabulous. If you don't need us, still stay with us on this and we can just kind of keep on moving in the right direction. We will always go above and beyond and we will always, hope for your success and try to get you, positioned in the best way. So that's what I want for you. I want everything to go in the right direction. And I think, you are probably the star pupil when it comes to implementing things very quickly. It's just, I want to harness the flame. This is something I talk about a lot of our sales guys. I actually have Lee over at Sandwire. They're probably going to be joining us on the pipeline reviews at least. So he's, or not Lee, I'm sorry, Justin Cladovo, who you'll meet, but he's one where he wants to be all things to all people. And that's in a good way. Like he wants to help everybody. But sometimes you got to put the cylinder around the flame and make the flame go in one direction because man, that flame's going to get there real fast if you do. But if it's all over the place, turns into a wildfire and you can't control it.
Right.
That's the only thing. So
no, I get it. So, but well, you know me. I want to do I want to apply full intensity.
Yep.
And really just race out in front of the pack. And so I mean I can see the value obviously in what you do, and so I really appreciate what you've created here because I knew pretty much from the get-go that I needed your help. I wasn't really quite in the position to take advantage of it. And then now look, you created this. So
that's awesome. Well, I appreciate that you appreciate it. So we'll talk again tomorrow.
All right.
Okay. See ya.
Have a good afternoon.
You too. Enjoy the ribs. Bye.
Bye.